The 2025 Daytona 500 is right around the corner, and what better way to give your NASCAR void a fix by giving y'all the early entry list for the Great American Race, the entry list that I got right now with all the confirmed drivers, with all the rumored drivers expected to take place in the race. So let's start it off. We're going to go in numerical order, but enough said here, and on to the intro we go. Alrighty here, driving the one car will be the Watermelon Man of Ross Chastain. This year is a big year for him at Trackhouse Racing. Last year missed the playoffs, but you know what? He is going to make it this year. He will win his way in. Will it be Daytona, a race where he was in contention last year, heading into the final lap? We will see, but I believe he'll win a race this year. Fast forward, the two-car, Austin Cindric, going absolutely nowhere. To win last year in Gateway saved his career, if you will, and it bought him some more time. So he's going to be on the NASCAR circuit for many years to come. The three-car is going to be Austin Dillon. Could very well be his farewell tour in the NASCAR Cup Series as a full-time driver. We have seen a decrease in popularity and also competitiveness from Dillon on track. So could this be it after this year? Time will tell, because RCR has a great group actually of drivers coming up in Jesse Love and Austin Hill. So they're going to have to make a tough decision, but it will not be that tough of a decision if they have Kyle Busch want to move on elsewhere. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens at RCR. But Austin Dillon in the historic three-car, the four-car of Front Row, Noah Gragson, the five-car of Kyle Larson, the six-car of Brad Keselowski. I hate to spoil it, but he's my pick for the 500. He has been close many times, but I believe he gets it done this year. His team is the colleague of the Xfinity Series, if you will, when it comes to super speedways. They're always together. They race clean, and they're going to get it done, but they're always going to be together. So if you're going to plan on beating them, you're going to have some people behind you that are willing to work with you, because RFK Racing, by God, if Priest is first and Keselowski's in second and Buescher's in third, they're going to stay in that order. They're not going to pass one another. They're going to get the checker flag, and other teams have to team up against that. So it's going to be tough to beat. But Keselowski in the 6-car, the 7-car of Justin Haley, the 8-car of Kyle Busch, the 9-car of Chase Elliott, and right here, the 10-car, Ty Dillon. I don't know how I feel about this one. Ty Dillon had a stint with the 42 car in 22, the 77 in 23, and those years right there sucked. So he didn't get a full-time gig in 24. He went back to the Truck Series and came back up in 25. If he doesn't do good this year, I believe his career is legitimately over with. Hasn't done crap in the Cup Series. Take away one race, or two races actually, in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. Dover, the spring race where he actually led a lot of laps, and in Daytona, the summer race. Two races in his Cup career that were great. Outside of that, not crap has been accomplished by Ty Dillon. I hate to be a hater, but him taking the ride over Hemrick doesn't bode well with me, because Hemrick was actually doing good things in that 31 car, which is not a 10 car. They just moved the number. But yeah, I don't like this at all, and very iffy on him this year, but he's in the 10 car. The 11 car is Denny Hamlin, and the 12 car is Ryan Blaney. The 15 car right now is one of the few unconfirmed rides for the Daytona 500. It's going to be an all-star open car for Rick Ware Racing. And just by the sound of things, they're going to go with Corey LaJoie. But don't quote me on it, but that's the rumor that I've been indicated. So there you go there, another Ford driver. He's going to have a tough task ahead of him, regardless of who it is, making it into the Great American Race, because of all the talent you're going to have elsewhere. Because we all know that Helio Castroneves is in this race, regardless of what happens. And he's going to make it in on speed. So it's really going to be three other spots, and there's a lot of good competitive cars, and there's a lot of duds. So one of the duds are going to make it in just because of the way duels align. So maybe the 15 car can get in, but time will tell there. The 16 car, AJ Allmendinger, second go in the Cup Series of Kaulig full time. The first time was kind of a disappointment, but the playoffs rolled around. He changed his entire outlook of his racing career, winning at the Roval. And this time around, with plenty of road courses on the schedule, I believe he sneaks out a win at one and gets into the playoffs. And who knows, he can surprise a lot of people. I don't want to go out there and say he can win a championship, but I believe the round of 12 is likely. That's his championship, I guess you can say, making it to the round of 12. But there you go there. Chris Buescher in the 17 car. A big year for him. Last year he missed out of the playoffs, and I can actually see he missed out by about an inch. Kyle Larson at Kansas last year edged him out for the win. And that right there would have got Buescher in the playoffs, and who knows what could have happened there. Yes, he did suck in the opening round, but if he was in, he would have raced that first round differently, and his team would have approached it differently. So you really can't judge it off of that. So there you go there. He's looking for a rebound year. Chase Briscoe in the 19 car. It's going to be a good one. If you look on my community notes, I release paint schemes from when I see them, from rumors, this and that. And Chase Briscoe's car was spotted out at Daytona. And I like the paint scheme. Looking good. Bass Pro Shops Camry. And he's going to win a couple races this year in the 19 car, filling in for Martin Truex Jr., who retired, and just doing a couple of one-offs in the 500 as one. But there you go there. Chase Briscoe in the 19 car. The 20 car, Christopher Bell, the driver that did spoil the Briscoe announcement many months ago, last summer, if you will. So Christopher Bell and Chase Briscoe on the same team is going to be very exciting to watch. The 21 of Josh Berry. When he moved over to the 21 ride, we assumed that he was going to have very limited funding, if you will, and a lot of it would have come from Motorcraft and Ford. But it looks like Dex Imaging is actually with him, and we saw it at a picture from Media Day. Had Dex Imaging on the fire seat. So could they stay and sponsor him a lot this year? Because that right there will be very big, because Barry did have a lot of he didn't have a lot of sponsorship last year. They had to pick stuff up along the way, and that right there is just pure luck. And obviously that's not going to align every single time. So for him now to have some sponsorship on his side early on in the year, he can focus more on racing, and his team, his personnel can focus on the team racing on the track instead of off the track stuff, negotiations, this and that. So Josh Berry in for a good year, and I believe he will do good. Righty there, the 22 car, Joey Logano. The 23 car of Bubba Wallace, a underdog in the Daytona 500. I believe he can shock a lot of people. Missed the playoffs last year, but he's looking for a rebound year, and I believe it can happen. Right here, 24 car of William Byron, who won the Daytona 500 last year, looking to repeat it this year. It's going to be a big task, but you know what? He's done it before. He can do it again. Right here, the 33 car is unconfirmed, but the rumor is Austin Hill, and the 34 car of Todd Gilliland, a front row. Last year he drove the 38 car, and now he is moving back to the 34 car his dad once raced in. And here's the interesting thing right here. Front rows drivers, it's always traditionally been the 34 and the 38 cars they had on track, and the lead driver was always in the 34, and right now Gilliland's in the 34. That just shows you how highly they think of him in that organization, because moving numbers from 38 to 34 is like, for an outsider, you may think, that's nothing. But that's a big deal. Just like at Team Penske, if you're driving the 22 car, you're the real deal. And Joey Logano's carrying the torch for them. Stewart Haas Racing, the 14. You just name it. So Gilliland's got a big support group behind him in the 34 team. And I think he's going to actually win a couple of races this year as a Tier 1 driver, if you will, because front row has got the best of best Ford equipment out there, and being Tier 1 is going to get them some trophies. Mark my word. So there you go there. Roddy Hertz in the 35. I don't know how I feel about this. Hertz is going up against SVG in the Rookie of the Year contending. He's obviously not going to win it. SVG is by a mile. He's going to win a couple of races, and Herbst maybe gets a top 5 by luck at a super speedway. Because last year he did have a good Xfinity year, but he did fall apart at the end. So I still wanted him to come back another year in Xfinity to potentially win a couple of more races, but he's in the Cup, and I just believe they rushed him up. He's one of them drivers that you got to hold on for a little while and let them develop. We didn't really see him break out. For an example, Chase Briscoe a couple of years ago, he sucked early on, eventually got into his groove at Stewart-Haas Racing, won all them races in 1 year with Chris Boswell as his crew chief, and he moved up the Cup, I believe, 1 year too soon, and struggled. And then the next year went off, made it to the round of 8, and he's been up and down in his career, but you got to be patient with drivers, and Riley Herbst was rushed up into the Cup Series, so maybe he'll struggle next year. I believe he will, but hopefully not, because I hate to see a driver suck on track. But I just got a bad feeling about Herbst in the 35 car. Yes, he's in a good equipment, but good equipment doesn't guarantee good results. Driving the 38 car is going to be Zane Smith. Zane Smith actually drove this car a couple of years ago, part-time, while Todd Gilliland struggled to get sponsorship money, and Gilliland would have went to the 15 or 51 car of Rick Ware Racing to fill those races in, while Smith was in the 38. I just made it sound way more confusing than it should have, but bear with me. Zane Smith going back to front row. He won a championship with his team in the Truck Series, so he's not a new face there. They know him, and I expect them to be punching right away off the bat, so they're going to be competitive. Already here, moving on, you got the 40 car of Justin Allgaier Jr. Motorsports entry. Chris Stapleton as a sponsor. I expect this car to get in on speed purely in qualifying. They're not going to have to really do anything in the duels. They're going to have Hendrick Motorsports research and equipment, all that stuff done, and prep this car the right way just so they can make it in and make it a fifth entry for Hendrick Motorsports, if you will. Already here, the 41 car, Cole Custer. He's getting his second run in the Cup Series. Had a good run. He won in his rookie year at Kentucky, fell apart in year 2. In year number 3, and he fell off, and he went back to Xfinity, proved himself, and yeah, so it's been a big couple of years for him, and I believe he's ready to redeem himself again. Is he going to win right off the bat? Hell no. But with the team he's got, give them a couple of months, and maybe by the summer he'll be competitive, contending for wins. Who knows? Time will tell. All right, here to 42, John Hunter Nemechek. Make or break year for him. If he doesn't win, Toyota may cut him off because they got a good group of drivers coming up. The 43, Eric Jones, same deal. If he doesn't do crap this year, he's done. So this is a big year for both drivers there at Legacy, so got to do good. Already here to 44, J.J. Yaley, confirmed. Already here to 45 of Tyler Reddick, the 47 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and the 48 of Alex the Showman Bowman, and the 51 car of Cody Ware. I don't get this. I'm going to go on a rant here. So Cody Ware was with Rick Ware Racing for most of his career. And that's like a father-son duo. Like, it's like an F1. You got Lance Stroll racing for Aston Martin, a team that his dad owns. Lance Stroll is actually somewhat competitive. Cody Ware is not. He is the complete opposite. He is just wasting a ride in the Cup Series. He hasn't proven a damn thing in either truck, or hell, we can go back to ARCA, truck, Xfinity, you name it. Cody Ware hasn't done crap. And for him to be in this ride after all he's done off track, come on now. How in the hell are sponsors wanting to go after this? Like, come on now. And last year, they had one of the greatest driver lineups in Rick Ware Racing history. You fumbled J.J. Yaley. You fumbled Kaz Grala. Come on now. You could have kept Kaz Grala for the right deal, but instead you got to go for your son, who has been piss poor his whole career. Come on now. This is a business, and you cannot let nepotism take over. This right there is not a good look. Cody Ware is going to suck. He actually may not make it the whole year. He's going to probably have something pop up, and they're going to put in a road course ringer to fill in to make it look good on the charter system that's staying, the owner standings. I'll get my words tied up here. I'm so pissed off because he hasn't done crap, and he should not be in this ride. And I stand by that. Already here, the 54 car of Ty Gibbs. And I believe Kaz Grala, after all, will get into the 500 in the 50 car. I did miss that one, but he's a unconfirmed driver right now. But we're going to move on. Driving the 62 car in the Great American Race will be Anthony Alfredo, who has had a little interesting last couple of years, if you will, because in 2020, he had a gig with RCR Racing part-time in the 21 car. He actually did really well, and it got to the point where he actually got a cup nod in 2020, or 2021, if you will, front row in the 38 car, and he did relatively okay, but it did have a great pool of drivers coming up, so he had to get the boot come 22 because Todd Gilliland took over his ride. He went back to Xfinity and raced for BJ McLeod, then went over to Our Motorsports. Now he's with the 42 team, and I don't know how I feel about it this year. I don't think he's going to do much at all. Maybe he sneaks out a win out of Super Speedway, so that could possibly change his entire outlook of racing. Maybe get a couple of big teams interested in him again. But for the Daytona 500, he's going to have to make it in on the duels. There's no way he's going to make it in on speed and qualifying. So he could be one of the duds, if you will. I ain't calling Anthony Alfredo a dud because he is a stud driver, and he is a very talented driver. I'm not trying to discredit him at all. But the team he's with, they have a lot of work cut out for them, and I believe they can make it in. But I'm going to tell you on my 4 official drivers at the end that can make it in, possibly 5, depending on Castro Neves. But there you go there. The 66 car is unconfirmed. It was supposed to be a Wallace, but he got denied his entry, if you will, because NASCAR deemed that he wasn't fit or ready. His tongue twister there, what NASCAR tried to do. I don't want to get into it. Castro Neves hasn't done crap in a stock car. Just racing an ARCA car doesn't prove that you're ready. I'm just saying. Alrighty here, moving on. I think it's stupid because it prevents other drivers from wanting to come over because nobody wants to race in a dumb ARCA race. Like literally, ARCA race, you can go to your local short track. That's better than ARCA. ARCA sucks. So, that's a sore subject there. The 71 car, Michael McDowell. The 77, Carson Hocevar. The 78, BJ McLeod. And then the 84 of Jimmy Johnson. The 88 of Shane Van Gisbergen. And the 99 of Daniel Suarez. Alrighty here. Here's the fun part of the video. Out of all of the open cars in the field, I'm going to predict the ones that make it into the Great American Race, and I'm also going to predict the ones that go home. I think it's going to be a lot easier predicting the ones that go home because it's practically common sense. Yeah, there's no way a Rick Ware racing car is going to beat out a Hendrick Prep car. So you can take away the 15, you can take away the 33, you can take away the 44, you can take away the 50, you can take away the 66, and I believe Martin Truex Jr. in the 56 car will make it in qualifying, and Justin Allgaier will make it in also. Hendrick Prep car and a Joe Gibbs Prep car for Truex are second to none. They're going to be in easily on speed. The duels come around, though. I think Johnson will make it in, and I think Helio Castroneves will also, but he's going to be the exception. I believe he'll be the 41st driver in the grid, and I believe, remember at the beginning of the video, I said one of the dud teams would make it in, a surprise, because there's always that surprise in the 500 duels. That driver is going to be Anthony Alfredo. He did it last year. He'll do it again this year, and I can't wait for it to happen because the reaction that whole team had, Anthony Alfredo, was second to none. I like that. It gives me chills looking at the reaction because that team was so pumped up. They saw all their hard work throughout the entire winter go into that moment, and they made it into a Great American Race. It's a dream for everybody, and they all want to finish first place. But granted, that doesn't ever happen most of the time because it's only one winner after all. And if we're going to make it in, that's such a big deal. And it's also such a big deal with the purse reward. They get a lot of money. So if they can make it in, that would be a very big deal. But there you go. There is the current Daytona 500 entry list as of January. So obviously things will change, and I may be wrong on some of the open rides, but those are just rumors I've been hearing, so don't quote me. But everybody here, though, remember to please like and subscribe, and everybody have a great day, and stay tuned for more NASCAR content as the season approaches.